I'm on a search for a 2026 Corolla Cross Hybrid XSE, specifically one with the JBL sound system package and convenience package. But I might have a temporary solution for this week's review. Hey guys, it's Chris, and in this video I'm super excited to show you guys this 2026 Subaru Crosstrek. Now a few years back I showed you guys the standard version. Now we have the hybrid version right behind me. You join me on a rainy day to do a full-blown review with this vehicle right behind me. And you know what? I'm quite interested to see how this vehicle compares against the benchmark. Corolla Cross Hybrid XSE. But you know what? This one does not have a remote start. I don't have the subscription for the Starlink app, so I left the vehicle on, and we're gonna go ahead, drum roll, get into this review. Looking outside of the 2026 Subaru Crosstrek Limited Hybrid, this is your key fob with your lock, unlock, tailgate release, and panic button at the bottom of the key fob. As equipped, this vehicle is $39,486, dressed in a crystal white pearl exterior with a gray StarTex interior. Now this one does also include package 37 for $1,600, which bundles in your moonroof as well as a 360-degree camera system. Looking a little bit more at your front end fascia right here, you have a full LED headlight setup right here with your DRLs, which are down below, LED turn signals, and LED low and high beams in the center. You also have some LED fog lights further down below in the front diffuser. Your Subaru logo is front and center. This does also double as your sensor for your eyesight, driver assist technology, which you will try out on the road. Now coming over here to the wheels, we have a gray 18-inch aero spoke design wheel wrapped in a 225 all-season tire. Hybrid badging right there on the front door, as well as keyless entry for your front door handles. This right here is your window sticker. Check out all options and features in the description below. You have blacked out roof racks up top and a moonroof to give you air filling inside the cabin. Overall vehicle length is 176.4 inches long from nose to tail, with 8.7 inches of ground clearance. You have your taillights out back with a single exit exhaust tip under the rear diffuser. On the passenger side, you will find a 16.6 gallon gas tank. Fun fact, this vehicle is actually ready to get nearly 600 miles on a single tank of gas. Under the Subaru logo, you will find your tailgate release. Now behind these second row seats, you will find 18.6 cubic feet of space. If you do fold down the seats in a 60-40 split, right here, 60-40, that expands to 50.6 cubic feet of space. You have a compressor right here for your fix-a-flat kit under this little door panel, as well as your illumination right here. Your cargo cover to hide your cargo with some tie downs, as well as your carpet floor mats right here. Looking down below, this is your storage area for your battery, as well as your air compressor second part right here, and a tow hook over there on the right. To close the rear liftgate, you have a little handle right there to close it like so. But now, let me show you guys under the hood where all the action happens in the new Crosstrek Hybrid. Let's go. Hood release is down below. Now opening the very light hood of this Crosstrek Hybrid, you'll find a hybrid setup. Now this uses a 2.5 liter boxer 4-cylinder that makes 162 horsepower and 154 pound-foot of torque, connected with 2 electric motors that makes 118 horsepower combined, as well as a 1.0 kilowatt-hour battery for a net horsepower rating of 194 horsepower. This all goes to a CVT transmission with MPG figures of 36 MPG combined. Curb weight is 3,693 pounds, as this one is equipped. Now I do like the overall look of the Crosstrek. Definitely does have a fun, youthful edge about it. You can also get a wilderness trim with a little bit more body cladding, as well as all-terrain tires if you plan to take your Crosstrek off-road. Let me get a 3/4 front shot before we hit the interior. Sweet. But now let's check out the interior where all the action happens in a new Crosstrek Hybrid. Let's go, baby. Let's go. We are starting in the back seats, of course. Now, I am 5'6". Sitting behind myself, I have about 4 inches of legroom. As far as headroom goes for a elevated hatchback like this, I have about 2.5 to 3 inches of headroom. It's very good back here. You obviously do have your window controls over here on your door panels, as well as 2 USB ports right there. One is a USB-C, as well as a USB-A port right there. Thanks to that 37 package, we have a moonroof up top, LED illumination. Here's a quick look to the cockpit right there. But now, let's check out the driver's seat where all the action happens in a new Crosstrek Hybrid. Let's go, baby, let's go. Now, again, this is a gray StarTex interior. You have all your seat controls right here. This is a 10-way power adjustable driver's seat right here with your lumbar support and a manual tilt telescoping steering column right there. All of your window and mirror controls over here on the door panels. And I do like this kind of like faux carbon fiber trim right there, which is pretty interesting. All these materials are like soft touch, even right here and here. Hood release is down below. EV drive mode, cluster illumination, as was your gas tank release button right there. Stepping inside of the new Crosstrek, you have this 3-spoke steering wheel right here with paddles behind the wheel, as well as your light controls and wiper controls over here on this side. I have all my media controls as well as cluster control settings on my left with volume control down below, as well as all my eyesight drive assist technology on my right hand side, drive modes, and a heated steering wheel button right here. Now, looking a little bit more at this new 12.3-inch cluster, again, I can use these 2 buttons right here to change and configure all my various different modes. So this right here is in a standard mode right here, where you can see all my speed as well as your charge, eco, and power meters. I could toggle my MPG settings right here in this little icon, range settings, vehicle time, tire pressures, map stuff, as well as your media settings right there. And you also have a vehicle charge or power flow meter, so it shows you whether you're using the electric battery or the engine to propel you forward, or both in tandem. And you can also put it into a reduced view like so. Now, if I do hold down on this button right here, I can change and configure all my various different modes and menus for the cluster settings. So I can go to a navigation view, so you can see my drive assist on my right hand side with my charge, eco, and power meter over on my left. And of course, you do have your maps right in the middle. Hold it again. I can also pull up a driver assist view right there. If I do hit the brakes, you can see the brakes are activated in the little icon of the Crosstrek right here, which is pretty cool. And then you hold it again, you can go back to your main standard mode right here. Now, looking a little bit more at your main infotainment, this is a 11.6-inch touchscreen display right here. Obviously, you do have a couple of buttons or shortcut buttons on the outskirts of the screen. So I have my hazard button, volume and tune knob, defrost, as well as some climate controls right here on both sides. Now, this is my main home page right here. When I go back, you also have embedded navigation. So let's try a quick navigation test. There we go, I forgot the W. As you can see right there, it finds a prompt with no problem at all. But going back to your main home page right here, your radio, your media settings, your phone settings, you also have your various different apps, as well as my Subaru app right there. Some vehicle settings are right here. So I have my car settings for my auto hold function. Eyesight drive assist technology can be controlled and configured under this menu right here. Some more vehicle settings right there. You also have your X mode, which I will talk about in 1 second. Radio settings for more phone settings, navigation and sound, and you also have your general settings right here, which are specifically for the infotainment screen. I did also deactivate the beeping so that you guys don't get too annoyed when I do beep through all the various different functions and so on, but I deactivated that. Going back here, you also have Apple CarPlay, which is wireless. So let's try a quick audio test. Now, this one does have a 10-speaker Harman Kardon sound system, and I'm super excited to try it out. Now, even upon first-hand impressions, I was very impressed with the overall bass and sound quality that the system did offer. Going back to my main home page right here, car information setting is right there, display on and off, valet mode, traction control on and off, and you can also add your shortcut buttons right here. You also do have a shortcut button to get to your X modes right there, as well as my driver assist under that menu right there, and some more settings. Now, one thing I want to show you guys up top is that you can also see your media, and you can also cycle this little upper portion for your maps. And then you can see right there, it pulls it up. I can also toggle over for my acceleration, fuel consumption, steering angle, weather, as well as my X mode right there if we take this vehicle off the beaten path. So you have your snow dirt mode, your normal, as well as your deep snow / mud mode. Looking further down below, you have your auto hold function, as well as a shortcut button right there for your Bluetooth devices, user profiles. Your climate controls are down below. You can adjust and change the temperature right here, with these little buttons on both sides, and so on. Now, looking down below, you have a USB-C port with a USB-A port right there, a wireless phone charging pad, and this right here is your gear shifter for the CVT transmission. So I can put it back to reverse. And thanks to this 37 package, we have a full-on 360-degree camera system, so I can adjust the various different angles right there. Now, one cool feature, if I put the vehicle into drive and push the camera button, it will also pull up a front view camera system, which is pretty cool. I can adjust all my various different angles and so on. Back to park, you also have a manual mode right here, your electronic parking brake, as well as your 360 camera button right here. Heated seats, so in the middle is off, push forward for high and low, and so on. Cup holders are a pretty good size, a 12-volt charger right here. As far as the center console goes, you have plenty of storage right here, it goes pretty deep. Auto dimming rearview mirror up top with your garage door opener down below. All of my telematics stuff and illumination, as well as opening and closing your moonroof up top, which lets in some natural light. But now, let's check out real world performance with the new Crosstrek Hybrid. So let's go! I'm super excited to be behind the wheel of the Subaru Crosstrek Hybrid. You actually join me in downtown Alexandria with a little bit of rain. First things first, speaking of visibility out the front, rear, and the sides, I can see very good over the hood, out the side mirrors, and even out the back for a elevated or compact SUV like this. Now, in all intents and purposes, this is just a elevated hatchback. Now, the ride quality is very smooth for everyday driving. I have a 18-inch Aero spoke design wheel setup on this particular tester right here, dressed in this lovely white pearl exterior. That's actually quite funny because originally I was supposed to be doing a review on a gray car, but I ended up with this white vehicle because the gray one sold. But hey, we had to make it work, right? Now, the new hybrid Crosstrek is available in two distinct trims. You have your Sport, as well as this fully loaded limited trim right here. You can also get a off-road-esque version dubbed the Wilderness trim, which comes with all-terrain tires, as well as a little bit more body cladding. But this right here is like the cream of the crop, the top of the line. Now, it's actually quite funny to me because the Corolla Cross Hybrid XSE has been the benchmark when it comes to compact SUVs, because you're getting in the 40s MPG with about 196 horsepower. Now, I'm quite curious to see how this vehicle actually compares against the benchmark, which we'll discuss as we go throughout this POV driving experience. I think the rain just makes it even better, right? So, first things first, talking about first-hand driving impressions, a couple of things that I did notice. Right off the bat, you have your designated EV drive mode right there, which works under about 20 miles an hour or so. But coming from the dealership, I noticed that we had a lot of like downhills, and the car was like really regenerating and charging up that battery, and that's where it really shines at when it comes to recouping the extra energy back into the battery. But you have your drive modes right here on your steering wheel, my intelligent mode, and you also have a sport mode right there, dubbed S. Now, the powertrain itself uses a 2.5 liter Boxster 4 that makes 162 horsepower. This is paired with two electric motors that makes 118 horsepower with a 1.0 kilowatt hour battery. Now, I do want to try a quick 0 to 60, so we have a quick straightaway, and let's go. Not bad. You can really feel that torque feel when you like hit the gas. It just feels so good and satisfying. And I'm talking about like off the line. There's no brake boosting. That's just stabbing it from the slide. Now the electric motors itself makes about 199 pound-foot of torque on its own, which you can really feel that torque feel in EV mode and even hybrid mode. Very smooth driving experience, might I add. Now, as we drive along a little bit more, let's talk about the technology aspect of the new Crosstrek, right? For this new 2026 model year. If you guys remember, I drove the standard gas version a few years back, but now we have the hybrid, and there are a few changes worth mentioning. So right here in front of me, we have a new 12.3-inch cluster. As you guys can see, is in a more traditional view. I can hold down this button right here, this icon button, to change the mode. So you have a map navigation mode, which is pretty cool. Really gives you this kind of cockpit center focused view, which is awesome. And you also have a driver assist page right here. If I hold it down again, as you guys can see, I'll leave that up because we'll be hitting the highway in 1 minute. As far as the infotainment, this is a 11.6-inch touchscreen interface. Wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, you have embedded navigation. All your settings and everything are pretty straightforward. And obviously, if I do hit the camera button, I can pull up a 360 camera all-around view on the exterior of the Crosstrek, which is pretty cool. It all goes through a 10-speaker Harman Kardon sound system, which has impressive bass and sound quality. Upon first-hand impressions, I really do like this sound setup right here. Now, speaking of seat comfort is about average. I have heated seats, heated steering wheel, 10-way power adjustable driver's seat. The passenger seat is manual adjustable. You're like, bro, starting to cut up or something? No, I'm just experiencing the Crosstrek. Was that sheer luck? There's a Forester like right over there. That's pretty cool. But sitting over here on the highway, this is honestly a great time to demo the EyeSight driver assist technology. So I can set my speed right here. You can go all the way out to 3 following distances, 4 actually, or all the way down to 1. I still think level 1 is pretty safe. It's actually pretty accurate in terms of following distance. You also have lane keeping assist with steer assist. So if I do veer over my lane, as you guys can see right there, it will pull me back over and illuminate red to let me know to put my hands back on the steering wheel. Boom, you guys can see that again. And also too, these little icons right here in my line of sight illuminate green, meaning that your hands on the steering wheel, and adaptive cruise is great. But if I do veer over again, even that will illuminate red right here, which is pretty cool. At highway speeds, the vehicle is pretty smooth. Honestly, you can really soak up a lot of miles in this vehicle. Now, speaking of miles, Subaru actually quotes that this vehicle can get about 591 miles on full gas, including the hybrid mode setup, which I think is pretty interesting. I would have showed you guys the passing power, but it's a lot of traffic out here today. Look like the sun is trying to peek its way through all the rain and stuff. Let there be light. You can obviously see your blind spot monitoring, which is integrated inside of the mirror. That's pretty interesting. Now, this still is like a 2-step process in terms of the adaptive cruise control and driver assist tech. So you basically have to activate it like so to get the adaptive cruise to start working, and then your steering assist function is right there. That's actually quite interesting. It actually pulls up your blind spot information right here inside of the cluster. And then obviously you have the little icon of the Crosstrek. When you hit the brakes, it does the same thing in this little icon. Had to give you guys a little pull, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Now, as you get a little closer to the dealership, what is my overall opinion and conclusion on a new 2026 Subaru Crosstrek Hybrid Limited? Now, first things first, I will say the powertrain is very smooth for everyday driving. Honestly, I prefer this over the standard gas version. I think the transition between pure electric mode and internal combustion engine is very smooth. Now, one thing that I didn't mention in the walkaround is that if you put the vehicle into its manual mode, that will activate the power generator, dubbed the 2.5 liter Boxster 4-cylinder, which will activate to help charge up that battery. And if you just put it in regular drive, the vehicle just decide and determine whether it needs both to propel you forward or not. Now, I will say this, right? Keeping on pace with the Corolla Cross Hybrid XSE, that one gets about 39-40 mpg combined, whereas this one gets about 36. They have similar horsepower. It's literally like a 2 horsepower difference between the two. But I will say what this vehicle does better than that vehicle is in the fact that you're getting a lot more of a compact package. And in reality, all intents and purposes, this is a hatchback. This is a elevated hatchback with 8.7 inches of ground clearance. Now, with that, you also do get a little bit less capacity out back. So this one has about 18.6 cubic feet of space. Keep in mind, a compact SUV will have more capacity out back. That is only one downside to this. Also, one other downside is the fact that you have all these various different packages, which bumps up and upticks the MSRP, like the 37 package. That was $1,600. That gets you the 360 camera as well as a moonroof up top. But I will say this, right? Compared to Corolla Cross, it doesn't get as good of like MPG as well as just overall packaging in terms of capacity. But where this vehicle really shines is this is available when Corolla Cross is a hard sell or hard come by to actually find.
Yo, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.